Yeah, this show so far, totally wizard. Here are my immediate thoughts on episode 1 and 2 of Star Wars Skeleton Crew. Hey everyone, this is Lenny here. So we are just going to get into episode 1 and 2 of Star Wars Skeleton Crew that premiered on Disney Plus. And let me just say, these first 2 episodes are amazing. They are everything that I had hoped that this show would be. So yeah, I am loving the hell out of what we got. Now, this show is created by Jon Watts, who helmed the 3 Spider-Man films for Marvel, Sony, and Christopher Ford. And I admit it, Star Wars on Disney Plus has been a mixed bag. The first 2 seasons of The Mandalorian, peak quality television. 3rd season, not so much. Book of Boba Fett, I don't even want to talk about. Acolyte, less we talk about that, the better. Ahsoka, okay. Obi-Wan Kenobi had its moments. Andor, fucking amazing. So it's really like, with these Star Wars shows, you're just throwing things up in the air and just seeing what sticks. But I was really interested in this show because from what I had gathered from the trailers and from what I've read about the description about this, it definitely seemed like Star Wars meets the Goonies, and this show definitely has a very Spielberg-esque-ian, Amblin-esque style in terms of the storytelling and in regards to our main characters. And this show reminded me of all of those properties that I grew up loving, things like E.T., Poltergeist, The Monster Squad, The Goonies, Space Camp, Flight of the Navigator, all of those properties that one were very suburban in nature and still got into the dark, seedy underbelly of suburbia, but at the same time putting kids in awesome adventures that were still really, truly dangerous. This is not an 8-year-old Princess Leia just happening to be able to easily deke and dodge out of the way out of grown adults from the Empire. No, we got kids with blasters, they're finding skeletons, and they are being threatened by real pirates. And just as a reminder, this is a spoiler review and recap, so unless you've already seen the first 2 episodes of Star Wars Skeleton Crew, I suggest you go back and watch those, then come back here because, child, we got a lot of shit to talk about. And yeah, Star Wars with pirates? I didn't know I even wanted this until the first scene of this show happened. And we got an honest-to-goodness space pirate invasion. And this scene did not play around. People were dying left and right. The opening shooter was actually really reminiscent of the opening scene of A New Hope. But man, the special effects for that first scene, seeing those pirates flying out into space, taking out those turrets and everything, mind-blowing stuff. But then we're introduced to Aten, and this is a completely new world. It is completely suburbia. It looks like something straight out of Poltergeist or E.T., and it is really cool to see worlds, new characters, and new worlds in the Star Wars universe that are not affected by anything named Skywalker. And we are introduced to our 4 main protagonists. Wim, who is the most adventurous spirit. He's the one who wants to be a Jedi and also is the one that seems to get into the most trouble. We have Fern, who's the rebellious spirit. She's the one with the speeder bike that needs to find a power converter.
And Tashi Station is proud to present the Power Converters! Oh yeah!
Her best friend KB with the Geordie glasses that is super techie. And we got Neil. Oh, Neil, the best friend, Samwise Gamgee, ride or die of Wims, who is just not about the life that they are currently leading as these kids on this crazy adventure. And I love the fact that we have these very distinguishable characters in this very high concept plot, and the show does such a great job of establishing the world that they are in first. We see them at school, we see Wim and Neil play fighting, These are all things that I remember growing up when I had action figures, whether it was with Lego or the Kenner Star Wars action figures, or with my Transformers, or going on the playground and doing play WWE, WWF wrestling. We did all that shit, and this show captures that spirit so well. The other thing that the show captures so well is the concept of absentee parents. And the show captures that with Wim's dad really being at work pretty much 90% of the time, and Fern's mom, who may be part of the First Order in some way, or what is going to become the First Order. I don't think we ever see KB's parents. And Neil, oh Neil, only has the biggest bubble bathtub I've seen this side of Tony Montana.
Hey, fuck you, man!
But this show accurately captures so much of just basic childhood. Things like general crushes, the whole idea of claimsies and claiming items as your own, claiming robots and claiming fortresses, and daydreaming and believing that you could be a greater hero and then better than the boring environment that you're in, and always wanting to go on these crazy space adventures. This show captures all of this so well. The tech in the show is so cool. We get to see speeder bikes, etch-a-sketches, things that look like 3D viewfinders. There's a moment where Neil's toddler siblings are watching a scene from the Star Wars holiday special, and I am just losing my shit. But like I said, one of the things that this show captures really well that is very Spielbergian is the whole notion of a darker underbelly and darker undercurrent behind suburbia. And at Aden, something isn't right with this place. First off, it feels very culty with the career orientation test at school and how everyone wants to be like analysts and all these other jobs that seem to be made more for the First Order and not really about being an independent spirit. We have all of these protection droids everywhere. We have this barrier around this planet that people always seem to reference. It seems like these kids had never seen stars before. And I love the fact that while this seems to be sort of a pirate swashbuckling Star Wars meets Goonies type of show, it is a reverse pirate search, because instead of the kids going on a pirate search to search for treasure in another area, these kids are actually from the area that these pirates have always heard of and is this mythical land. But this is such a great little adventure. The first time these kids see hyperspace is like the first time I saw hyperspace in Star Wars, and I lost my ever-loving shit the same way they did. And you see how kids act in terms of how curious they are and how curiosity sometimes has consequences. Wim, don't touch the green button that's blinking right in front of you. Wim, don't touch the big black button that is right in front of you. And I'm already loving Nick Frost as SM33. Yes, I see you, Disney. And there is so much that this show is stealing from Pirates of the Caribbean, but at the same time, I sort of welcome it. And the music from Mick Giacchino, son of Michael, is really great. He takes little hints of notes from the Goonies, but also mixes it in with the Skywalker theme from Star Wars, or throws in little beats from the Imperial March, but sort of jazzes it up with a march from like a pirate movie. There's all these great practical puppet effects as well that I just absolutely love and welcome in the Star Wars universe. And on top of all that, we got Jude Law, who has introduced himself as a Force-sensitive individual, and I assume he is the captain of the original ship from the first episode that was put on this wild goose chase and was left with that sole single credit. And yeah, that was Jaleel White, Steve Urkel himself, as Gunther, one of the pirates. And Jaleel White, I just want to take some time to apologize to you. When I was a kid, A lot of people bully me and call me Steve Urkel, and I hated you for the longest time. I know it wasn't your fault. I know it wasn't your fault, but the time was rough. But this show is doing everything right in terms of mixing Star Wars with 1980s children's PG-13 type nostalgia. They're just straddling the right line. Everything they're hitting is hitting right. So right now, these first 2 episodes are prestige. I love the fuck out of what this show is doing. We're only 2 episodes in, but if this show continues to stay on the clip, we might actually have another great Star Wars property on our hands. And obviously, I am going to give you guys reviews and recaps and spoilers for this show as it comes. But those are my immediate thoughts and feelings on the first 2 episodes of Star Wars Skeleton Crew. What did you guys think of the episode? Share your thoughts, leave your comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to hit that bell icon so you can get notifications as well. Thanks a lot, everyone. Take care.